Alright, welcome back for part 2 of the final exam. This is Super Sanchez again. So this question you should already know. The slope of a horizontal line is 0. Another way to remember is Hoy Vox. If you haven't remembered this, H for horizontal, O for it's not really O, it's 0, which is your slope, and the equation is y equals. And then the letter V stands for vertical. The slope is undefined, and the equation is x equals. So hopefully you have that mnemonic device learned. 21. A line passes through 1, -2, 2, 1. Write an equation for the line in point slope form. Just to review, point slope form, y minus y1 equals mx minus x1. Alright, so first things first, we need to find our slope. To find our slope, we need to label x1, y1, and x2. That is not x2. This is y1. Alright, our slope formula is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Alright, so here we go. So 1 minus a -2. Again, you could go ahead and change that to a plus. And then 2 minus 1. So 1 plus 2 is 3. 2 minus 1 is 1. So technically our slope is 3. So now we just write it in point slope. I'm going to use the first point and this guy right here. So our equation is y plus 2 equals 3 parentheses x minus 1. And that's all we do because it said what form? Point slope form. Question 22. What is the effect on the parent function f of x equals x when f of x is replaced by 116 f of x? Remember, what this is saying is that you're going to take f of x, and f of x was x. So this is actually saying g of x equals 116x. So if I was to graph that, remember the parent function goes right through the middle, like this. And if I was to graph 116x, it would almost be a vertical line going straight up like that. Okay? So that means it got very steeper, which is letter B. Another thing to remember, if you multiply, that's either making it steep or makes the line flat, or in other words, less steep. So think of it as controlling the volume or controlling the ramp. Okay? If it increases, it goes steeper. If it decreases, it goes flatter. Alright, number 23, write the equation of a line that is perpendicular to the given line and that passes through the given point. Let's refresh our memory on perpendicular. That means opposite sign, and it has to be the reciprocal. Alright, so what information we need is that we need the slope here. That's the slope. So our perpendicular slope is going to be -3 over 2. Alright, and then we have this point here. So we're going to start with point slope because that's the information that we have. So y minus 5 equals -3 halves x plus 6. And then we're going to go ahead and continue. Okay, this comes straight down. -3 halves times x is -3 halves x. -3 halves times 6 is -9. Okay, then the next step is to add 5. That cancels. So y equals -3 halves x minus 4. And this is our equation. Okay? What is the equation of the line shown? Usually we write equations in slope-intercept form. So slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b. The first observation that I need you to make is that this line is negative. please, please, please make that effort to make that recognition. Next, you need to pick 2 points. I'm going to pick this one and do rise over run. So I'll rise and run. My rise is 2 and my run is 1. 2 is rise, 1 is run. Please label so that you do not get these backwards. So this is 2x. Now, if it's 2 over 1, it should repeat. 2 over 1, 2 over 1. Down 2 over 1. Okay. So negative 2x, and then the letter B stands for our y-intercept. The y-intercept is where it crosses the y-axis. So this line crosses the y-axis at 1. So I'm going to put plus 1. And bada bing, bada boom. Okay? Alright, number 25. Write an equation that best represents the relationship between P and H. So we're going to start again. Write an equation requires that I find the slope. Okay, so let's find our slope. So how did this 10 become an 18? It went up by 8. How did this 1 become a 2? It went up by 1. So again, please remember change in y over change in x equals 8 over 1, which is just 8. Again, this is our slope. This is y, and this is x. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to have to write an equation. So I pick my first point. So 1, 10, and I start with point slope like we did earlier. So y minus 10 equals 8, parentheses, x minus 1. So then this becomes 8x minus 8. Again, we distributed. Then I add 10. Y equals 8x plus 2. Okay, so the equation is this. Number 26, find the slope of the line. We've done this before, so this should be easy breezy. Remember to find slope between 2 points, y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. This is your first x, this is your first y. This is your second x, and this is your second y. So we're going to do 0 minus 4 and 6 minus 4. So we end up with negative 4 over 2, which reduces down to negative 2 over 1, or just simply negative 2. Number 27, write a function rule for the table. Again, we've already done this before. So step 1 is to find the slope. So again, just to show that you could pick whatever points, I'm going to do the ones in the middle. How did this 7 become an 8? Plus 1. How did this 3 become a 4? Plus 1. Change in y over change in x is your slope. So 1 over 1, which is 1. Now we pick a point. I'm going to go with 3, 7. So 3, 7. And we start with point slope again. So y minus 7 equals 1, x minus 3. Then we distribute 1x minus 3. And then we add 7. Y equals 1x plus 4. So this is the function rule. Function rule is another word for equation. Write an algebraic expression for the phrase the sum of y and 7. You need to understand that the sum means plus. So we're going to add y and 7. And this is your expression. Alright, common difference is to figure out how this number goes to this number. Okay, so it's kind of like finding the slope. So we're actually going to do 2/5 minus 1/5. So 2/5 minus 1/5 is 1/5. So the common difference is 1/5. If you notice, if I add 1/5 plus another 1/5, it's going to give me 2/5. And if I add 1/5 to 2/5, it's going to give me 3/5. Okay? All right, number 30. Sketch a graph to represent the system. All right, so let's do that. First things first, let's identify a couple of things. The first equation, the slope is -1, and I'm going to put a 1 under it. It's rise over run. The next thing you need to identify is that this guy is negative, so this line is going down, so remember that. My y-intercept is 2, so now I can graph this line. So I'm going to begin at +2. I'm going to go up 1 square and over another. Up 1 and over, up 1 and over. And you'll want to do this all the way across. Okay. You will be able to use your graphing calculator to do this on the final exam. But you need to know how to do this. If you have any plans of going off to college, you need to be able to do this by hand. Alright, the second equation, my slope is -3 over 1, and my y-intercept is -1. Don't forget to label rise over run. Alright, so we're going to begin at -1. This also will go to the left because the slope is what? Negative. Alright, so at -1, I am going to rise up 3 squares. 1, 2, 3, and over 1. 1, 2, 3, and over 1. 1, 2, 3, and over 1. And then down 3 and over 1. And as you can see, our solution is going to be like a decimal. It's like right there. Okay, so we're looking like at -1.5 and about, let's see, 1, 2, 3, so 3.5. And again, this is an estimate because it's not on a whole number, so we're just estimating, guys. So make sure you understand that I am estimating. Again, solution is where the two lines intersect. Okay. Alright, number 31, solve the equation. Hopefully you are bored with these by now. You're going to distribute 2 times y, which is 2y, 2 times 3, which is 6, equals 20. And then we're going to subtract 6. 20 minus 6 is 14. And then you divide by 2, y is 7. Now, please get in the habit. I can't beg you enough. This is only for your sake. It doesn't bother me. It's for you to verify that you have the right answer. Okay? 7 plus 3 is 10, and 2 times 10 is 20. Oh, look at there. I did it right. When it comes to solving equations, you have the ability to check your answer. So please, check your answer. Do it for yourself. It's not, because we told you. It's because you want to make sure you got the answer right. There's nothing, it doesn't take that much time to check your answer. All right, number 32. All right, I'm going to write that a little bit bigger. Number 32, we have -6 equals x over 8 plus 4. So we're going to start by subtracting 4 on both sides. Again, that is the inverse operation. We get -10 equals x over 8. Now, don't forget that this means division. So the inverse property of division is to multiply. So I'm going to multiply both sides by 8. These two things cancel. X equals -80. So that's our answer. Now, again, we're going to take the time to check. -6 equals -80 over 8 plus 4. -80 over 8 is -10. And -10 plus 4 is -6. So we did it right. Okay. Number 33. In order for an equation to be linear, what is not allowed? So here's all the rules. No exponents, no square roots, no x in the denominator of a fraction, no multiplication of x and y. I forgot to add one, no x as the exponent. Okay, so that looks like y equals 3 to the power of x. So that one is not line. Again, when we say linear, that means if I was to graph these, does it make a straight line? It could be like that, or it could be like that, or that way. All of these make different pictures. This one makes a U. This one makes like a Nike, like a check like that, or an arrow. This one does funny things. It goes like that, I think. And then I don't even know what that makes. Okay? Alright. Oh, an exponential function goes like this. We'll learn about that second semester. Alright, write an equation of the line that is parallel given to the line that passes through the point. I hope you learned these. You do these in geometry a lot. Parallel means same slope. So what information do I need from the equation? I need to know that the slope is 2/5. Since the slope is 2/5, my parallel slope is also going to be 2/5. So I have a point and I have slope, so you should start with point slope. Y minus y1 equals mx minus x1. So y minus 2 equals 2/5 x minus 10. So y minus 2 equals 2/5 x. And then 2/5 times 10. So this is how I've been multiplying. 2 times negative 10 is negative 20, and then divided by 5. So negative 20 divided by 5 is negative 4. And then we add our 2's to both sides. Y equals 2/5 x minus 2. Bada bing, bada boom. Again, for that fraction, 2/5 times negative 10, you put a 1 under this. 2 times negative 10 is negative 20. 5 times 1 is 5. And negative 20 divided by 5 is negative 4. Okay, so that's how I've been multiplying the fractions. Alright, next problem, number 35. Write an equation in point-slope form. Alright, so this is easy breezy. Y minus y1 equals mx minus x1. This is x1, this is y1. So watch, they're both negative, so that means we actually write plus 9 3/4 x plus 1. And we stop because it said point slope form. Number 36, identify the domain and range. Please remember that the word domain is your x's. So I'm only going to be looking at my x's. And typically you put them in order, but since we're just going to put them like that. So 1, 2, 4, and negative 2. Sometimes they write it like this. X such that 1, 2, 4, and negative 2. Sometimes they do that. Your range is your y's. So that's this guy, this guy, this guy, this guy. So my range is negative 3, negative 2, 6. Now, if you notice, I have 6 twice, but I only wrote it one time. Do not repeat the numbers. Do not repeat numbers. And again, if we wanted to write it in set notation, I put y such that negative 3, negative 2, and 6. Alright, solve the system by using elimination. Step 1, are they lined up? Step 2, do they have the same coefficient? And the answer is yes, they do. Same coefficient. Our y's have the same coefficient of 1. Alright, so that means that's what we're canceling. So again, step 3 is the signs the same. We subtract. If the signs are different, we add. The signs are different, so we're going to be subtracting. I'm sorry, the signs are different. So we're going to be we're going to be adding. So 4 plus 5 is 9x. and these cancel, and 14 plus 22 is 36. So I divide by 9, and x equals 4. Okay? So then what we're going to do with this 4 is now we got to find y. So step 4 is to plug back in. Plug back in. We're going to do 4 times 4 plus y equals 14. So we're going to do 16 plus y equals 14. Subtract 16. Y equals -2. So the solution to this problem is 4, -2. And again, the proper thing would be to check. So let's check that it works. Since I used the first equation, I'm just going to use the second equation, which is 5x minus y equals 22. I replace the x with 4. Again, what we're doing is checking, okay? And then y is -2. Now, that got two negatives, so I'm actually going to put a plus 2. So 5 times 4 is 20 plus 2. Well, guess what? It equals 22. So we've done the problem correct. All right, let's go to 38. 38 is simple and quick. Write an equation of line with the given slope and the y-intercept. We can write y equals mx plus b. So y equals 5x minus 9. Boom, we're done. Number 39, find the x-intercept and the y-intercept. Okay, so let's find the x-intercept. The key idea that you need to remember, which y'all learn it, but then you forget. The x-intercept is when y is 0. So if y is 0, we end up with -2x equals 98. And the only thing we need to do here is divide by -2. So we're going to take 98 divided by 2, or -2, x equals 49. -49. Okay, this is our x-intercept. Now to find our y-intercept, we're going to do x equals 0. So what happens is that you end up with -7y equals 98. So I'm going to divide everything by -7. So 98 divided by 7 is -14. So this is our y-intercept. Easy breezy, lemon squeezy, guys. Alright, we're almost done. Number 40, Shane swims 8 miles per day. If the D is the number of days he swims and M is the total of number of miles he swims, what is the rate of change? How do you know? So, if you notice, they give you a bunch of blah, 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 blah. Box in your question. The question says, what is rate of change? Your keywords are rate of change, and what is the meaning of rate of change, which means slope. Hopefully by now you have learned which word is your keyword for slope. The word per is your indication that this number is your slope. So 8 is your slope. 8 is your rate of change. And why do you know? It's because it says per. Okay? So this is rate of change, which is your slope. Okay, number 41, it asks, is this a function? A function, you got to know the definition. X's don't repeat. Okay, so we look at these x's. Oh, right there. These two numbers are the same, so the answer is no, because x's repeat. Bada bing, bada boom. Number 42. Woo! We made it, guys. Domain is your x-axis, my beautiful people. Domain is your x-axis. Now, please notice that we have a beginning and an end. So that means x is going to be in the middle, and the signs go this way. So let's look at where on the domain, on the x-axis, does it begin and end? Oh, look at that. I circled my numbers, or highlighted my numbers, 0 and 40. Now, because this dot is closed, we need to make sure we put lines there. Now, the same thing is going to happen with range. Since it has a beginning and an end, I'll put a Y in the middle. The signs go that way. So now this time look at the y-axis, how high and how low. And in doing so, you tend to find the numbers. So 0 goes first and 4 goes second. And don't forget to put lines underneath because they are closed circle. Woo! We are finished. Y'all, make sure you study. Make sure you practice the problems over and over. You know what you struggle with, okay? Please come prepared. Good luck to you. It has been an awesome semester. Hope you have a great winter break. Bye.